So we're speaking with Gregory Cendana, current president of the U.S. Student Association, and he's also the first openly gay Asian American to serve in this post. Where'd you grow up? Where'd you go to school?
Yeah, so I actually was born in Cendana City, Guam, but I grew up most of my life in Sacramento, California, and graduated from UCLA in 2008.
So how old were you when you moved to the U.S.?
I was actually really, really young. It was when I was around 1 year old.
Oh, okay.
So I've been in the U.S. for a while.
I was born in Argentina, and I was 5 when I moved to the U.S. So I was basically raised in the U.S. Do you identify mostly with being an American, or kind of? I mean, one is you were very, very young.
Yeah, extremely young. I actually don't even really remember being in Guam. So all my memories, my childhood memories and my experiences, I've all been here in California specifically.
Have you been back to Guam?
I haven't been back to Guam.
Wow.
I plan on going there. I was actually there because my grandpa was in the Navy and my dad was in the Air Force, and so I was actually at a military base. My family's from the Philippines, though.
So you went to UCLA. What did you major in? What was your area of study?
Yeah, so I majored in sociology and labor and workplace studies, which was pretty exciting for me. That was actually not what I wanted to go into, but that's what I ended up doing.
And how did you get involved with USSA?
Yeah, I got involved in a lot of different ways, but my first interaction with them was actually a grassroots organizing training that was held at our campus, and it was my first year of school, and I was looking to get involved, and I was looking to meet other people, and it was a training that actually connected me with different organizations that were working on issues that related to students of color and access and affordability to higher education and support for students of color, especially once they actually got into the university, and kind of continued to get involved. Attended actually a conference here in Washington, D.C., and continued to get more involved. Became a trainer, one of their trainers for the Grassroots Organizing Weekend, that the first training I got to attend.
Yeah.
Ended up joining their board of directors, and then shortly ran for officer position after that.
That was going to be my next question, whether the president is an office that is elected, appointed, whether it's just a job interview type thing. But before we get to that, how old were you when you came out?
Yeah, so that's a complicated question.
Okay, it often is.
I came out my end of my first year publicly in college, but I didn't come out actually until my parents until actually about a year and a half ago, where it was a lot more recent.
So how many years I don't know how many years it's been since your first year in college. So how many years were you kind of out but not to your parents?
Yeah, so my first year of college was 2004. So it's been maybe about within 4 or 5 years, then I actually was able to come out to my parents after that.
And why? How did that come about? Why did you decide? I mean, were you did everybody know except for your parents?
I think a lot of people either knew or they assumed. I think a lot of it was, as I was going through my college experience and being able to meet new people and really have a chance to explore myself and my identity and take classes and, live the college life, if you will.
Yeah, totally.
I was able to... I think a big part of it was I was doing a lot of organizing within the LGBT community, and I couldn't share any of that with my family, and I couldn't really be completely open with them. And then secondly, I actually was elected vice president in 2008, and coming to DC, making that big shift was really big, and I was really uplifted and really recognized for some of the work that I was doing within the LGBT and also larger Asian American community.
So what was the most difficult part about kind of being out but not to everybody? I mean, do you have to constantly be thinking about who knows what and what can I mention? I mean, what...
Exactly, and I think that was part of the motivation to tell my parents, because I was like, well, as I'm continuing to do more organizing and as I'm continuing to get more involved, who I was as a person and that aspect of my identity was kept on being attached to me. So I had this really big fear of my parents Googling my name or someone Googling my name and then reading an article or something and outing me in that way. So I wanted to just go ahead and tell them. And I think the other piece of it for my parents was also around, like, I was starting to meet guys that I was like starting to have feelings for, and I wanted to be out to them before I was able to like share with them anyone I was having a
Sure.
relationship with or had serious interest in.
So I mean, are you basically living multiple lives, or is that what it feels like?
That's what it did feel like, and then I kind of realized, I am proud of it. This is exactly, and the work that I do at USSA was partially being able to uplift and empower and let other young, openly LGBT folks, especially within the Asian American community, that you can be in these types of positions and can be able to help make change and can be yourself. And so once I came out to them, I felt like a whole burden was lifted off my shoulders.
A couple of weeks ago on my show, I'm in Massachusetts, and Springfield, Massachusetts is one of the most dangerous cities in the country in terms of gang violence and gun crimes. They need good police officers. And I had a police officer on the show, Michael Carney, one of the more interesting interviews I've done. And he had been on the force for 20-something years, and at one point he left because he was closeted and the situation had become such that he wasn't at all comfortable in his job. He came out, and he went back along with a few other officers who had also been gone but didn't come out while they were, they weren't gay. And he wasn't given his job back. And he felt that it was just discrimination because he was out. That's the only thing that had changed between him and all of these other officers that were coming back. He ended up fighting it and actually did get his job back. And it was just incredible to me that, Springfield, Massachusetts is a city that needs good police officers. He was a good police officer.
Yeah.
There's no reason that they shouldn't have been asking him to come back and work. Are you surprised when you hear about situations where beyond all logic, beyond all other necessity, somebody is discriminated against just for their sexual orientation? I mean, it defies logic, doesn't it, sometimes?
It does feel like that, and I think I still, to be really quite honest with you, even though USSA is a very nurturing and loving organization, being the representative for USSA in coalition meetings, going to meetings on the Hill, in the Department of Education in the White House, and really in interacting in the larger DC kind of political arena, I still even feel like that within, in that context. And so
sometimes you're uncomfortable with things that happen, or you get a feeling that maybe the situation is not as good as it could, as welcoming maybe.
As welcoming, and there's very clear dynamics, right? And I even feel like there's other people that I know who are also LGBT, but feel like they have to change who they are, or like fit this mold, and that can't be an aspect that they can share, or that's something that they have to. And so even some of it is really internalized with people to say, well, even though I'm gay, I don't have to be, I don't have to flaunt it, I don't have to say all these different things, meaning they don't necessarily have to be who exactly they are. That's how I kind of interpret it sometimes.
Midweek Politics is brought to you in part by Jackson & Connor, classically modern men's apparel in Northampton, Massachusetts on the second floor of Thorns Marketplace. By DIF Design, specializing in custom business websites at difdesign.com. And by shentrition.com, provider of all natural superfood and adaptogenic herbal blend at shentrition.com. To find out more about underwriting Midweek Politics, visit midweekpolitics.com.